Thanks everybody for watching. This is a SoulDisco exclusive as we speak with 1/3 of the legendary 70s group, Pat Hodges. And Pat, thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you for the invite. I'm so excited what you're telling me. That is so great. Thank you.
As far as I know, I don't know if this is true. Are you the last surviving member of the group?
I am.
Wow.
I am. They passed away in 2013 and 14.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm so lonely.
So as far as I know, when the group started, you were handpicked by Mickey Stevenson, and Mickey Stevenson is one of the biggest names in music history. And he was the talent scout for Motown, and he started in 1959. So you were handpicked by him. So that tells a lot about your talent. May you want to tell us how this whole thing started for you when you were?
Okay, well, you know, I was still in school. I was going to UCLA, and so Danita, the James of Hodges, James and Smith, and I grew up together, same schools and everything. So we did different groups together. We had a few things, and we was in different shows and stuff together, but we knew one another. So, and she met Jessica. I don't know how they met either, but she met Jessica. And so they were talking about forming a group. Jessica always wanted to form a group. She wanted to sing because that child could sing, honey. So she wanted to sing. And so she was talking to Danita. And Danita said, well, we got to have one more person. And she says, I know just who to call. And she called me. And she said, Pat, what you doing? I said, I'm in school. You know, I ain't doing a whole lot. So she said, how would you like to join a group? And I went like, well, you know, girl, we always been doing stuff. Yeah, you know, sounds interesting. So she said, come up to Venture Records on La Brea and meet Mickey Stevenson. And because he was talking about forming a group with Jessica. Jessica at the time was his secretary. So she knew all about the business, and, you know, she was smarty. So come up there and meet Mickey and let's talk about it. So I said, okay. So I went up there, we were in his office, and we started kind of fooling around, harmonizing and stuff, you know. And then Mickey said, this sounds pretty good. So Jessica was top, I was second, and Danita was the tenor on the bottom. And so he said, well, why don't y'all think of a name and let's see what happens. So we thought about, you know, people had different, you know, family, sisters, families, wedding and everything. And so we thought about, oh, that's just so normal. So we thought about, you know, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. You know, and well, they were a white group. I said, well, so what? You know, I said, that's a good idea. Let's use our names. So Hodges, James, and Smith, we just did it in alphabetical order. And that's how we came up with the name, Hodges, James, and Smith. So a lot of people, when we first came out, they were calling us the law firm of Hodges, James, and Smith, or, excuse me. So, but that's how we came up with the name, Hodges, James, and Smith.
So, and how did the first recording session took place? Had you any chance to choose material?
Well, you know, Mickey did that. Mickey is control number one. You know, he'll tell you what to sing, how to sing, give you the notes and everything. But you know, he knew what he was doing. He definitely knew what he was doing. And doing the production of the tracks and stuff like that, he handled all of that. So what we did was we went into what we call woodshed. And woodshed is where you get your act together. It's where you get your sound together. It's where you get your relationships together. And We stood in the woods. We stayed in the wood shop maybe a few months. Then Mickey like had a recording company, as you know, Venture Records. And so he was have us go in and start doing background. That's how we really found out what our sound was like and how we related to one another. We did a lot of background. Another gentleman named Clarence Paul, we call him Grandpa, Clarence Paul, who discovered Stevie Wonder from Motown. He was there and he did a lot of the training. So it wasn't, we couldn't just jump in, even though we all had done background. You got to be trained. You got to be trained. You got to know what you do, especially in the studio, because everything, you can hear everything in the studio. Those microphones are very, very tender, and boy, you can mess up, go flat. No, no, stop. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. We got a lot of let's do it again until we got it down. Yeah. But Mickey did most of the picking of the songs. A lot of them he wrote. He's an amazing songwriter.
Yeah, he wrote Dancing in the Streets, for example. He did some major recordings. Major recordings. So yeah. What I do often here when I interview acts from the 70s, when they got into that business, when they were teenagers or in the beginning of their 20s, they say, you know, we signed contracts, we hadn't much information about the business, we were young, we trusted the people around us. And the thing was, later on, we found out that these contracts were in the best interest for management and recording company, but never for us. Did you guys?
You know, I definitely, that happened to a lot of people, but it did not happen to us. Mickey immediately put us in like a corporate structure, corporational structure. And so the group was signed to the corporation. So whenever he would make deals for the group, it would always be split 3 ways. And he took care, oh God, Mickey took care of our rent, the clothes we bought, the cars we rented to drive. He really took care of everything. And people would go and say, you crazy to get that man all your business and all he knows everything about you. I said, well, maybe so. But thanks to him, we had a good working relationship with the labels. We toured all over the world, literally, you know, and we always stayed in good hotels and transportation was provided. I'm telling you, if it had not been for Mickey, we probably wouldn't have had such a good experience with our group. You know, so that does happen, but it didn't happen to us. Mickey was very, and he was generous. You know, like I said, it always was split 3 ways. And he would always put the money out for the initial production. He would put the money out for the initial production, take it to the record company, and they would reimburse him. You know, that's how he worked. And in those days, they was giving some good deals. You know, deals ain't like they are today. I don't know what they do today, but they gave great deals in the 70s and from London and 20th century. Yeah. 20th Century was our first label. Yeah, that was the first album.
That was the first album, and I absolutely adore the artwork.
Really?
Yeah, it's such a 70s vibe on it.
Oh my God.
Seriously.
People would laugh. Let me tell you, people would laugh because I was the only one that showed boobs. So that's why they thought we were guys. Until I was, see, I'm the only one on the front that really shows my titties. So they say, oh, are these guys or what? And we did our own makeup for that album because we were just getting started, you know. So, and it was awful. That makeup was terrible. But they thought, oh, okay. But music was good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the caftans on the back at the ocean. Yeah, that was a good shot.
What?
The album was called Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Incredible. Right.
Do you have a favorite song on that album?
I can't remember.
Are you
What's some of the titles on there?
Yeah, sure. I can. We have Turn the People On, which
Okay.
was co-written, I think, by you.
Yeah, yeah. Turn the people on. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
So you also covered Steamroller Blues from James Taylor.
Uh-huh.
So then we have You Take My Love for Granted.
You Take My Love for Granted.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good ballad. Now, I think that was written by some brothers that we knew.
By Al Perry.
Al Perry.
Mm.
Oh.
Then you had Little by Little, Bit by Bit.
Little by little, bit by bit. Yeah. Those are good songs on there.
Yeah, and the thing is, you were talking about production and everything. You hear when you listen to that stuff on even modern turntables and everything, the quality of the recordings is just pristine.
Wow. Yeah, you think so? Yeah, that William R. His name is William R. Stevenson, but everybody calls him Mickey. He was incredible. He knew what he was doing.
So what happened after the first album came out? Because you never had in the 70s really the big breakthrough. You were talented, you had the right people, but it was never the real big thing. So
right.
what happened?
We started doing live dates.
Mm-hmm.
We put a live show together. It was about an hour, and we had other songs as well as the songs from the album in the show. And that's what there was a young lady, one of my mentors, her name was Kim Weston.
Kim Weston with
Yes.
Marvin Gaye, they made a great album
Yes.
together. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, Kim was married to Mickey. Okay. So he was producing her too as well. And she started touring. We went to Detroit, Chicago, New York. Excuse me, we went to Texas. We went to Maryland, Philadelphia, Boston. We just started touring with her. We were like her opening act, and then she would come and do her show. Yeah, that's what we were doing, perfecting our live show. And we had a really good show. So Mickey said, well, listen, if the records don't make it, you can still, if you perfect your live show, you can work doing that, because if you get a reputation that you got a good live show, people will hire you. And that's true. That was very true. And we did some discos. We did the 5/4. We did the etc. We did, what was that island in New York?
Fire Island.
Huh?
Fire Island?
Fire Island. We did that. And we did some really big discos in New York. And then we would go and do the record. And that was to promote the record as well. Yeah. So that's what we did. We hit the road.
What was did you ever hear yourself on radio? And what was that feeling to hear yourself on radio? Did you totally freak out?
Yeah, that was, I think I remember riding, we were on our way somewhere. I think we were on our way to San Francisco to do a gig at the Fremont Hotel. And it came on the radio. What came on the radio? Can't remember the song. But that was exciting. That was exciting to hear yourself on the radio. Wow, that was. I can't even remember the song, but that was so long ago.
It feels like yesterday.
Yeah, sure.
This is yet another album cover.
To me, that's the best album cover we ever did. That was the bomb. Yeah, because we had lost weight, we were shapely, and it was professionally done with makeup people, and the short, they were shorts, they weren't long tuxedos, they were shorts, and so we was sexy. I thought we really looked good on that album. What Have You Done for Love? That was another song we co-wrote.
Oh my God, all three of you co-wrote that.
Yeah.
That was Stevenson, Hodges,
Yeah.
James, and Smith. You were one of the few female groups who were also having writing credits. That's pretty rare. I haven't noticed that yet. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's Mickey. That's Mickey.
Are you still in touch with Mickey?
Oh, almost every day.
Really?
After the group broke up, I still continued to do shows with Mickey. Mickey has written about at least 6 productions. So I 4 of them at least, I was leads in the play.
Wow.
Singing from the Heart, Gospel Truth, Wings and Things. So I was always there. So Mickey and I still talk almost every day. He had written another show called Azusa Street Project, where the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit came down on Azusa Street here in Los Angeles. And he wrote a production of that, talking about the man that started it, and actually was responsible for the Pentecostal movement in Los Angeles, which is now worldwide. Pentecostal is worldwide. And then the show Singing from the Heart had told a story about Bessie Smith, Dinah Washington, Billie Holiday, Mahalia Jackson, and one more, Dinah Washington, not Dinah. Yeah, Dinah Washington. He wrote that show. That's stemmed from a show called Showgirls. And in that show, I played Bessie Smith. So he's been very busy. He didn't stop, He wrote those shows, and like I said, I worked in all of them practically.
Getting back to this, what's your favorite song on that record?
What Have You Done for Love?
Okay.
And it ended up being the single. It came out.
Mm-hmm.
What Have You Done for Love? It did very well. It did. The album did very well.
So this was this the last album? This was the last album.
That was the last one.
So why no follow-up? Why splitting the group?
Well, women. Child, it just stopped working. I guess, jealousies and, problems. I was the peacemaker, I'm gonna tell you now. And Danita and Jessica, I had to find them so much to fight. They was always fighting and fussing. And so one time I fined them both $50. I fined Jessica 100 and I fined Danita 50. And Jessica got mad about that. I said, why you gonna charge me 100 and charge her 50? She started it. I said, shut up. Put your clothes on and let's get ready to hit the stage. Mm-hmm. I had to be mama and peacemaker and everything. But it just, I don't know. It just fell apart. And I kind of wanted to act. Acting was one of my favorite things to do. I mean, I love singing with the girls, but I wanted to act, and I wanted to do more television. So I broke off and I did a lot of television and films. You know, I didn't make it, but I worked. I did work. And so it was just an ending time. I don't, you know, it just ended. And it was very difficult, you know, because I loved them. So we were sisters. No doubt about it. We were sisters and we loved one another, but you know, stuff happens and it just fell apart.
Were you still in touch after the breakup, or did you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, because Jessica did 2 of the shows that I was in. Danita, she wasn't interested in doing any acting or anything like that, but I tried to pull her in, but she just didn't want to come. She didn't want to do the acting. I can't do that. I said, sure you can. No, no, that's not what I want to do. You know, and then after the shows, we also did some gospel. We did lot of gospel. We were doing the gospel churches and stuff like that. We were just real into gospel. So we never did any albums, though. We never did any recording, but we should have. But things were just very difficult to stay together. You know, money, and, you know, my parents passed away and Jessica's parents passed away and she had to go to Detroit for a while. And Danita's mom passed away. And it was just, you know, one thing after another.
Life happened.
Yeah, it was life. That's what it was. It was life. And
so you never had the chance to reunite for a short period or doing anything else together?
No. Very soon after that, Danita got sick. She was the first one to get sick. And she had Alzheimer's.
Oh.
And so she wasn't able to walk. She was having grand mal seizures and she wasn't able to really talk a lot. So she really couldn't sing. So when we thought about getting back together, she started to be ill. And so she passed in June of 2013. And then I hadn't heard from Jessica for some months, which was unusual. And I went like, what is going on? So a couple of my girls that I sang with, you know, did background and stuff with, called me and said, do you know that Jessie's in the hospital? I said, what? She said, yeah, she's been there for about 3 weeks. And I went, okay. Thank you, Julia. And I got off the phone and I called Mickey. I said, do you know that Jessie's in the hospital? He said, yeah, I've been meaning to tell you. You've been meaning to tell me. Oh, God, I was so angry with him. And she had been in the hospital at that point for 3 weeks. So when I finally got there, her brother Greg was there and met me at the hospital. There's somebody's phone. And so Greg was there and I said, Greg, what's going on? He said, Pat, I had no intentions on coming here to bury my sister. I said, what do you mean? She said, she is so sick. She is so sick. And she passed from pancreatic cancer, stage 4. So she had it for a while, but nobody knew. I didn't know she was sick. So they died 6 months of each other.
Wow.
So I was like so devastated. I was like, I couldn't believe it happened like that. So, but I had to go on. I had to go. It was very difficult because we never got back together. You know, we made plans and talked about it, but we never got back together.
But at least the recording survived.
Yes.
it's a huge legacy.
Yeah, wow. You know, you never think about that, you know, when you're doing it, you're in the process of doing that work, and you're just working, you're working and believing in what you're doing, you know. Feelings, you said that one of their popular ones was Feelings.
This is one of the
That,
most popular albums of you guys.
wow, Danita was leading that. That was Danita. And then we came in and said some, me and Jessica said some things in French.
Yeah.
Danita was also leading Since I Fell for You.
Well, this thing is, I've had the people here just a few days ago, and I was putting that record on, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's so good! Where can I get it?" And you can't get it on Spotify, everything. So they got it from YouTube, and now going to the record stores to get that record because you can't get it anywhere else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Boy, that's amazing. That's amazing.
And
I'm gonna have to call Mickey when I get off the phone.
yeah, you should, absolutely, because this album is for me the most one where the songs blend perfectly into each other. You know, that's just an absolutely amazing record. And I consider myself, I think I've listened to all versions of Feelings available, from Cher to I don't know who, everybody did that song back in the day.
Yeah.
Everybody did it.
Yeah,
But you guys blew my mind. This is just the best version of Feelings I have ever heard, you know, honestly.
Wow.
This is just my top one version of Feelings. And this record itself is just an absolutely masterpiece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I love this record.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow. I bought like 10 to give it a present to people. And they were all like, oh my God, need to have it, need to have it.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Wow.
And I mean, look at that.
Never know.
So that's so 70s, that style, that's classy. You know, there's no one twerking on something that's, you know, style.
Yeah. Since I Fell for You, it was coupled with the song that Mickey put together. Falling in love with love is only make-believe. Falling in love with love is only make-believe. He added that to Since I Fell for You, just the original song, Since I Fell for You. And we loved that. We had a great time on that album. We really did.
And you can hear that. You can hear that when you play that. You know, people who are not into soul and disco music, when you put on their record, they're like, oh my God, I need to have this. Sounds so amazing. And you know, that's how good the production was back then. You know, that sounds, it's all, hear that vocal arrangements. Oh my God, hear that balance. And they're like, oh my God, that's, you know.
Yeah. Mickey was he was very conscious about sound. And what we had was a sound. We developed that sound singing together. So it for us, it became like a wall of sound. You know, the vocal, the way that the harmonies and things went together, the way that our voices blended together. I always said only sisters, blood relatives could get a sound like that was so different. You could hear Sister Sledge and like that, the emotions, they were all relatives. So their voice timbre was quite the same, but we weren't related in any way. And the way that we blended that sound, it just made it like, wow, this is a wall of sound. And then with the orchestration, Mickey was a big, when he came to like doing orchestrations, he got the best people to put strings and horns. And there was a song on there, I don't know if it was on that one or the last album, there was a song called That's the Way. That's the way when two people are in love, but not free. And it was done with just strings and our vocals. I love, that's one of my favorite. Was that on that album or was it the last?
Yeah, that was on that album. That was original.
Yeah, it was the last
version. L'Amour was the French version of that song.
Yes, that's it. Yes, that's the way. And we saw, oh God, when we were in the studio recording it, we actually did it live with the strings there. The most incredible time I ever had, you know. It was just string, you know, piano. It was no piano, just strings, viola, cello, violin, and our voices. We were in one room and the strings were in the larger room.
That's pretty rare, because usually in the 70s the production way was you get a pre-recorded
Yep.
you know, music track, and you put the
Yep.
vocals on it. That was the usual
Yep.
way to do the production in the 70s.
Right.
And being with the musicians in the same room is pretty rare for a 70s production.
I'm telling you, it was very rare. But that's Mickey. That's Mickey. That's his genius. That was his genius. He did that.
What's your favorite memory from all the years in the business?
The road, going on the road, because we had a ball. We had fun. We were always laughing and always going in to do something. And one time in Australia, no, Sweden. And we were in Sweden and we were doing television shows to promote the album. But they took care of everything. They took care of the gowns, the makeup, the photo shoot, all of that. That was a real experience. And we were like gorgeous. We were like so pretty. And we did this show where we were at the top of the steps. And Hodges was there, James was in the middle, and Smith was on the end. And we walked down these steps singing. What was we singing? Oh, can't think of the song. But it was just the most mixed. I felt like so fabulous. And it was like this big TV show in Europe. And it was like everybody watched it. And then we're like, wow, did you see Hodges, James, and Smith? They look so good. You know, because listen, we weren't always fabulous. You know, not to us. We weren't always, you know, we were just three Black ordinary people, girls, you know, not terribly gorgeous or, you know, like some of the other groups were fine. They were beautiful. But we had never considered ourselves as beautiful. You know, that came from culture, from our own background, stuff like that. And that was a very exciting time. And then another time we was in Milano, Italy. And we were in one of the arenas, you know, where they kill the Christians and all like that during that time. There were like 100,000 people in the audience. 100,000 people. And we hit that stage and all you could see was heads, bobbing heads. You couldn't really make out any people. They were all in the stadium. And all we saw was heads. So we had hit some song and it was like the people were coming toward us. And we looked at each other and we looked at Mickey. And then he said, run. I said, what? He said, run. We ran off the stage and the guards and stuff had stopped the people at the stage. They were, I don't know, some song we were singing and they just got excited. And they started running toward the stage. Well, what you gonna do when 100,000 people is running towards you? You gonna run. And that's what we did. But it was just a good time. It was the best time to be doing what you had been born to do. So that was exciting. That was a miraculous thing. I went to school. I went to Centennial High School, and I went to Harvard College, and then I went to UCLA. And I graduated in theory. I took music, and I was a vocal major and all like that. So I was doing that, not realizing I was preparing myself for what my life's work was going to be. So I thank God for that, because that was his leading that got me there. My parents always knew that I'd do something musical, because they had me in tap dancing and jazz and dance from the beginning, from the age of 5, and piano lessons and all like that. So they knew, and they got to see part of that before they passed. But it was just a whole exciting time. It was an exciting time for music. It was an exciting time for creativity. It was just awesome. It was really awesome. We didn't realize it then, but now you look back and you go like, wow. And the dance period, disco, Lord have mercy. Those clubs and people were dancing, honey. You couldn't get them off the floor. They would just stay there for one record after another. And the gay boys, the gay boys loved us. They loved us, and we loved them. Honey, they would just be on that dance floor and just not stop. So, it was just an exciting period in time, in music and creativity. It was just exciting. So I can't specify one thing. Just my life period was amazing during that time.
I do think that many people try to get a piece of that time by listening to that music, because this music that they created back then has been sampled and being reused and everything. And everybody was like, oh, disco sucks. But honestly, everybody was listening to it and still listen to it. Everybody's listening to disco music and dance music. That's how all this house music and everything got from, And I think that kind of creativity and being equal with one another and all of that, especially in that time, you don't have that today. So for me, music is
it wasn't about color or what you look like, or if you were gay, straight. It didn't matter. The music is what brought you all together. There was no differences. It was just music and dance, honey, and get your blues off, get your miseries. Don't even worry about your problems. Just dance to the music. That's so true. Golly, that's so true. That was an amazing time. I wish we could get some of that back now. All this stuff going on, Lord have mercy. But yeah.
Do you have a final message for your fans?
Thank you. Thank you for loving the music. Thank you for loving our group. Thank you for loving, but really thank you for loving the music, because the music is what brings it all together. What have you done for love? What have you done for love today? Have you helped your friend? Have you, helped somebody get their love back, or get their feelings back? To help one another is what the main thing that we need to do right now. I have a single out called Love Revolution. And it talks about how we need to get love back in our hearts, because everything is protest and, Black Lives Matter and da, 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 da. And nobody is thinking about love. Everybody's thinking about, getting even and getting equal and all like that. But my song says, let's get love back in our hearts. Let the Spirit show us how to love again, because it's just too much hate and too much craziness in the world. So my message is to Let love do the walking. Let love get back into your heart. And let's love ye one another. Let's love one another. Let's be at peace with one another. Let's help somebody along the way. And you'll be surprised how much better you'll feel about yourself. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
How can people get your single, or how can they get in touch with you? How can they, you know, do you have more out than your single? What are you doing at the moment?
Right now, I am. I'm recovering from COVID. I had COVID twice. So I've been recovering from that. And I put my record out in February of this year. It's called Love Revolution. And it's on most of your, it's on Spotify, it's on YouTube. There's a video that's with it. YouTube, it's on about 20 of your streamings. And it's Pat Hodges, Love Revolution. And that's what's out right now. And these interviews and other interviews like it, I've been doing to try to promote that record.
Are you planning anytime soon to go on tour?
No, well, because of COVID here in America, they're just starting to tour again. We couldn't get more than 200 people in a place, or you had to have 6 feet of, apart from one another and all that. So they're actually just now really getting back into stage productions and having shows on the road. So maybe soon I'll be able to get back and doing some road. I really want to do another show. Mickey is planning on doing a Azusa Street project on Broadway. So I've never been on Broadway. Okay, I've been on 79th and Broadway in New York, but I've never been on 42nd and Broadway in New York. So I would like to do this Broadway show. That would just make me so happy. Yeah.
And I think you're having a website. I put the link below under the video. If there are people, promoters, or other people who are trying to get in touch with you, they can get in touch with you that way.
Yeah, just Pat Hodges. My email address is attached to all of that. And my record, Love Revolution, you can definitely contact me through that. Okay. Actually, Andre Pittman, who is my love, I just love that boy. He has always kept my name out front. So I'm signed to his label, Enthroned Records. And the Love Revolution is signed to that label. And he's doing a lot of the promotion and stuff like that to get it off the ground. So Andre Pittman, Enthroned Records is another way to contact me if you need to. All right, I look forward to that. And thank you so much again. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Have a nice evening.
And you too. Well, that's right, it's evening in where you are, huh?
It's now 8 o'clock. It's evening and it's snowing here in Germany. It's pretty cold.
Snowing?
Yes.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's about 70 degrees here.
No, it's pretty cold and snowing, and everybody's trying to get into where it's warm.
Okay. All right. Well, y'all stay safe and stay warm.
And healthy.
Yes, and healthy. Yes. Please.
So
don't let yourself get sick. Okay. Thank you again, Nadine.
All the best to you, Pat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.